as always, by Xavier Great, Kenny Freese, and Jason, aka Cat Meyer. My name's Coop Ledford, and fellas, we are officially, as of this recording, CJ Anderson days away from Xavier basketball.
If Dan is correct.
If X-Fan Dan is correct, also Davion McKnight days. Actually, by the time you're listening to it, it's 19 days or less. But we're getting closer, guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
But Kenny, it smells like hoops in here. How do you feel?
I don't know what to feel, honestly. I mean, I've been hearing, we talked with Coach Pitino, and he has a way of making you excited about the season, but obviously, it seems like this is just a reoccurring theme of Xavier seasons. We're just walking into the season blind without really having any experience of watching these guys play in Xavier uniforms. But I mean, honestly, I'm more excited today than I was, let's say, 2 months ago, because I think that there's a lot more buzz around the team right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. It felt too. It can be a little bit deflating, Kenny. You know what I mean? Like, you have, especially with us as college basketball fans, you're used to that progression of like freshmen, sophomores. You build them up to juniors, and it's like then you have that like climaxes, and hey, we're seniors, and it's like they've been building up to this, whatever. It's weird starting from scratch. You're turning over an entire team. So it was kind of like that, Patrick. Like, who are you people? Or like watching a show, and it's like a different family lives in your house, but I feel like you are kind of the voice of the fan tonight, Kenny. Coop and I have been to a practice and madness tip-off.
Right.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Must be nice.
Sorry, admin. Must be nice. Yeah, thank you, Northern Ohio. So if anything, Kenny, I feel like you represent the fan who hasn't seen anything yet, and Coop and I, which is kind of crazy, we have the intel. Kenny doesn't.
Right. Yeah. As
I
it should.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
As you know, we're the ones that carry the whole podcast. Kenny's just here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny's along for the ride, riding the Coop and Cap coattails, of course.
That makes sense.
No, so I think that's what we have actually live action talk about tonight,
yeah.
Which I think is pretty fun. So between practice and madness, 36 minutes of madness, actually.
Yeah.
Inflation's not always bad, Kenny. It used to be 10 minutes, a 10-minute period in madness. Then it was 2 10-minute periods. We got 36 minutes.
36 minutes of tip-off.
So, and Xavier's playing Xavier, so my cat math says 72 minutes of Xavier basketball at madness.
And, I mean, that's all it was. It was just basketball.
That's so true.
There was nothing else to the event other than basketball.
No frills. Literally, we were doing like a skit off scene. It was just like Patino just like being asked, like, all right, so we normally do a dunk contest. And he's like, nope, not doing it.
Scratch it.
3-point contest? No, not doing it.
Scratch it.
Scrimmage.
Scratch it.
No, not doing it. He said, we're going to show up. We'll do a ball toss. I'll wave. We play ball. Get the hell out of there.
And I would like to apologize to the Xavier fans that spent their hard-earned money to go to that event.
Yeah.
Expecting, smoke and lights and music and intros and dunk contests, because when I asked Coach Pitino what song he was going to walk out to, he didn't know that was a thing that usually happens. And you could see it in his eyes that he was dreading even thinking about it or doing it.
He was taken aback.
And I think that is more than likely what led to it being just basketball, nothing else.
If you bet on Pitino saying the name Morgan Wallen on our podcast, like, I don't know what the odds would have been, on FanDuel, but he would have made a lot of money.
50-50. But anyways, after watching practice and Musketeer Tip-Off, Cap, I am ready to make an assumption about the team, how they will look for the entire season, and how each player is going to do.
No question. I have bold, italic takes to make tonight.
Yeah. But I don't know. Cap, is there one player that just stood out to you from watching him that it's like, I think he's going to be pretty good?
Well, I know there's one for you. And it is tough when, Kenny knows this as well as anybody. I feel like with these transfer teams, and this team is different because I feel like in the past, it's like we've got a couple guys that we know what to expect. Like last year, it's like we have Freeman, we have Jerome. So it's like they're coming in to play roles. This year, it's like we need a leading scorer. We need a second leading scorer. We need a third leading scorer. So I will say who I know your answer is going to, which is a great answer. Yeah. I'm going to throw a wild card at you. I think it was Pop.
Okay.
Pop and Jai. And Coop and I will also be making a pronunciation guide for folks tonight. Yeah. But I think it was Pop. I mean, he's every inch of 6'11", super versatile. And I don't know if he's going to be a guy who's looking great on day one. I feel like he's kind of raw, but it would not shock me at all if by midseason, like he's a huge contributor.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like something that gives me a lot of hope for the season is I've talked about it before, how Xavier's always kind of been that do more with less type of mentality, developing players. I think Patino really fits into that role, coming from where he's coached in New Mexico and in Minnesota. I think that obviously in New Mexico, he was able to find a couple diamond in the rough type players and make some good runs with those teams. So I think that gives me even a little bit more hope for this season, that you're going to see the team outperform what maybe they look like on paper, even though I think just from talking to you guys over the past few days, I think that you might be getting me a little bit too hyped up about the players. I don't know. You know how I can get, but no, but I really, I'm excited to see what he's able to do, because I think that it is a true testament to what you can do as a coach when maybe the odds are stacked against you a little bit right now with how the NIL money and revenue sharing has panned out for Xavier. It's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were even talking to Keith Jackson, who was there, and it's so funny. And that's what's funny about this team is I feel like everyone's on whole different sides. You could ask one Xavier fan what they think, and it's so – I've never seen a team this divisive as far as like how fans feel about it. And we asked KJ, like, what do you think? He's like, we're going to be good. Like, he was just like full go, like, I think we're going to be really good. So
I will say though, I think Keith and I are on the same wavelength as far as positivity goes, though. Like we're just trying to manifest that into reality. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. But you do look at, and I'll say this, Coop, and I'll go back to your question about who stuck out to you, because I think you have a really good answer there. But like, you watch this team and it's like, you see it looks like a Xavier team. Like, for example, like I remember just watching like Anthony Robinson. I mean, he's a freak. I mean, even I've heard even people say like this is like a Jalen Reynolds type of freak in nature. Like, and he's just built like out of his mind and dunks everything. I think he had, I'm not even kidding, Coop, somewhere in the ballpark of 8 to 13 dunks during tip-off. He's a freak. It's just very long, very athletic. And Coop, this too. A lot of guys can shoot the rock. So there's a lot of
before we get to Coop's answer here. How did you come up with the range of 8 to 13? That seems a little bit of an odd.
It was very specific. Well, Ken, I didn't want to go too low that I was going to be wrong. I want to give myself enough wiggle rooms or something.
Gotcha.
Like, damn it, Cap, it was 14. You have.
He had between 1 and 50 dunks.
Yeah, so I just wanted to cover all my bases. I'm very confident it falls in that 8 to 13 range.
All right, perfect.
Not 7, not 14. I know it wasn't those.
No, definitely not.
But it could be 10. Could be 11.
Right.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? It's in
all right. So, hey, Cap's been hyping this answer up pretty big, Coop. So we need to let's hear it here. Who's your player?
Off the backboard?
Jovan Milicevic, and 6'10" sophomore. I don't know if he's going to start the season, but I think he's going to work his way in. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes. He has the size, obviously, but man, he can shoot. Like his fadeaway is great.
Mm-hmm. Pure stroke on the team, in my opinion.
He's a really, really good
I feel like he wasn't super talked about. I know he had a really productive season last year, but he was not super talked about.
He came from New Mexico, and he, of course, being younger, being a sophomore, didn't play a ton his freshman year at New Mexico. But I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of hype around him, and maybe there wasn't really a ton of hype around anyone that.
There are a lot of confidence around him. If I can be honest with you, I think some Xavier fans I don't know about that name. So I'm just kind of writing them off. And we have like 3 or 4 guys that I'm going to be honest with you, like Philip Borovichin too.
Yeah.
It's like I was having a hard time like deciphering the names.
I will say Xavier's website though does a really good job, more so than working with Field of 68 last year. I had to like learn different teams, and some of the players' names were a little messed up, and I couldn't figure them out. And Xavier's website does a really good job of putting the pronunciations on there. That's something I got to give him props about there.
Yeah. It really helped me get Isaiah Walker and Anthony Robinson down pat.
Those are tough ones.
Trey Carroll, those are tough ones.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the players that stood out to us. We didn't really get to see some of the guys like Mir Panoam. We didn't get to see. All right, we got to see a little bit in practice. He had a minor back issue, it looked like, and sat out. It was a very minor thing. He didn't play in the scrimmage in Musketeer Tip-Off, so that's not like insider information or anything. He'll be fine. It was just he was out. But
a couple other takes. I think Roddy looks really confident. Watching the team in practice, I was like, Roddy's the team leader.
He's confident. I'd say that first half of Tip-Off, he was off the mark quite a bit, but then kind of found his shot.
Dialed in.
Yeah.
I feel like he's your emotional leader, it feels like. And to speak on, I'm sorry, Milicevic, one more time? Milicevic, excuse me. Like, you even pointed out in practice, like, bro, he's cooking. And then I even noticed it, and then I saw him in the first group, like, often. And then in Madness, like, he cooked.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, he had to have 20-plus points.
Yeah, and I don't know him as a person or anything. I don't know what his personality's like, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's someone that the fans just like gravitate to.
Yeah.
Like a silent leader.
Yeah, like silent assassin.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Just easy to like. And then I also think that Malik Moore stands out.
Malik Messina Moore,
stands out from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, every inch is 6'5", uber athletic. I think he might be the most talented player on the roster.
I agree.
Great shooter, super athletic. Just seems like one of those like game comes to him easy kind of guys. And that just seems like this team has a lot of those kind of guys. A lot of like 3, 4, 5s. Like you look at Trey Carroll, like Phillip Bourne, like there's just tons of those 6, 7 up, 3s, 4s, 5s who just do a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
In that 3 to 5 range.
I think this team's gonna have a lot of fouls to give.
Yeah.
So do you, from just because looking at the lineup online, it's not super easy to see like how many people have years left and stuff like that. Do you guys have any insight about that stuff? Just because I see like senior, sophomore, graduate student, senior, like it seems like we have a few guys that are going to have the ability to come back and play next year and maybe show some continuity in the program.
Well, we know Pop could definitely come back. We know Anthony Robinson, Kason Westfall, who we've not talked about yet. He's like the only true like freshman out of high school.
Right.
Mir Panoam. Who else?
Well, it's interesting. I think most.
All right.
We'll have to say honestly. A better question might be who's not coming back next year, because I know that most were brought in with multiple years. I know Anthony Robinson has multiple years, but I honestly, and maybe this is wrong, Kenny, and you know as much as anyone how much things have changed. It's kind of hard for me to even see into next year, especially with this current landscape. And I know that this is a part of Coach Pitino's calculus. I feel like is being a multi-year play. But in my mind, it kind of seems like everyone's on a 1-year contract. And I'm probably wrong, but that's just how I feel personally.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you go after guys that have a couple years left or 3 years left, whatever it is, I feel like you can probably get those guys a little bit cheaper maybe, just because, when you look at the span of a college career, and I know it happened to me, your freshman year, you're just trying to figure it out. Your sophomore year, you're like, I still got 3 more years left. Your junior year, you're like, it's fine. Next season, my last season, I'll push it off to then, like worrying about it being over. But then when you hit your senior year and you realize it's your last one, you get a different mindset about like wanting to win something or leave your mark. And I feel like guys that have some time left, you can still get to them and say like, hey, this could be your big breakout year. You know what I mean? And like kind of get into their head a little bit and say like, we might not be able to give you as much money now, but let's go in, let's win some games, and we'll see if we can get you more money next year. And I don't know if that pitch is for maybe another team, or if it's like maybe we can get more money into our program if we win and we can get you more money. I don't know how that works exactly, but I think for a younger guy, it's easier to look at somebody and use this as like an investment year, quote unquote. You hear that a lot as a pro when you're talking to your agent or whatever, maybe take a little bit less money with a team to really shine. So I think that having a bunch of guys that are younger with more years left, it's a good investment to make. But it's obviously just riskier because, you're getting guys cheaper, but you don't know exactly what you're going to get out of them. When you're paying top dollar for guys, you know exactly what you're getting. So I feel like, that's why this team is so up in the air for me, is that we just don't really know. A lot of these guys don't have a ton of experience. So bringing them in, and especially not a lot of experience in the Big East. So it's going to be really, really interesting these first few games, seeing how they meld together.
And I think that's the tough part too, is there's so many guys and you look at them and a lot of them were really good contributors on their teams last year. So because it's like, even an example in All Right, for example, we've even talked about him and he was a really good contributor on his team. So it's like, you just don't, I feel like you could make a case for 8 to 10 guys that could play starter minutes this year. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're kind of confused and we need to see some action. We have the Murray State game coming up to kind of get some eyes on how rotations look, because it's kind of hard telling Madness when it's 5-on-5. Xavier versus Xavier, it's hard to tell.
Right.
I think they make that on purpose. So it's going to be tough to tell. But if you want to, Coop, we can start putting together some mock starting fives. And if you want, I think I was going to start with our definite starters.
Okay.
In my opinion, Roddy's a definite starter.
Yeah,
I think he's your starting point guard. I don't see a way Anthony Robinson doesn't start.
I think he's
I feel like you just watch that Xavier team. I don't know about you. He's the first one that pops off, in my opinion. Just like, holy shit. Like, he's a freak athlete. Like, I think he's – and you talked about breakout candidates, Kenny. But I was studying some, like, Virginia fans. He played for Virginia last year. And they were like, we were so excited. We felt like he was going to be a big breakout player next year. So I feel like there are a lot of guys like that. So I think those two are definite starters. I feel like it's going to be tough to keep Trey Carroll on the bench.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
He's just so heady and aware. I think he gives you a lot of – and Kenny talked about experience. I think Trey Carroll's one of the more experienced players on this roster. I feel like he's going to be tough. What position do you think Trey Carroll plays, the 4 or the 3?
Man,
he seems like a traditional 4 to me. I don't think he moves like a 3.
Yeah, I guess that 3 to 4 range.
And we're going to have – and that's so many of our guys. And it is positionless basketball.
He's a 3.75.
But me personally, I wouldn't want Trey Carroll guarding like an athletic 3, like an athletic wing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
agree.
But I think those 3 are definite starters. I have
Malik.
I was going to say the same thing. I have a hard time seeing Malik not start. I feel like he's like a perfect 2 guard.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's where you kind of.
So then that leaves us with who's our 5, right?
Correct.
Essentially. So
here's what you could do. You could put Pop at the 5, slide Trey Carroll to the 4, or slide Anthony Robinson to the 4, Trey to the 3.
Sure.
You could even put in one more time
Milicevic.
I could see him playing the 3.
Yeah,
he's super long, and I feel like he moves enough to guard a 3. I honestly probably would have slated Gabriel Posado in the 3 personally, but you have a lot of options. But I think I would go Roddy at the 1, Moore at the 2. I'd probably go Trey Carroll at the 4, and I'd probably go Anthony Robinson at the 5. And I feel like I'm probably going to, give one more time.
What, the pronunciation?
Yes.
Milicevic.
You
can just call him Jovan.
Yeah, give me Jovan at the 3. Give me Jovan at the 3. But my wild card is Pop, bro.
Yeah, I think Pop might be the 5.
Pop is gonna. I think by the end of the season, Pop might be a starter.
Yeah.
Even by midseason, I think.
Pop it makes me happy to see 7-footer on the team, 2 7-footers. But
I'm sure it does.
I know we got a lot of height, but it's just something about like the mentality going up against a team that has a 7-footer. You hear 6'10", you hear 6'11". But that just like the feeling of a 7-footer, it's nice that they're on our side. It feels like the last few years we've just been playing undersized, trying to figure it out. And it's nice to have that size down low. And so you guys think there's 8 or 9 guys on the team that are going to be getting minutes?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about All Right.
I mean, All Right's in there. Philip Borovicinen's in there. He might even start, truthfully, because he knows he played at New Mexico, so that definitely helps. Mir Panoam, once he's fully healthy, obviously he's going to play a lot.
His film
he's
is wild.
Probably going to be
super athletic,
a starter at some point this season, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So there are multiple guys, Kenny, that you can make a case are going to be big contributors. So that's what's going to be interesting, I think, I think there's about like 4 guys, 5 guys that we feel really confident will be really high contributors, but there's another 5 or so names that's like because I feel like, Kenny, you probably know, I feel like after the 8 spot in college basketball, it gets tough to have a rotation of more than 8. I think 8, maybe 9 is your magic number. So it's going to be interesting to see how role definement comes.
Yeah, and Isaiah Walker.
Exactly. Isaiah Walker. He hit some threes in Madness as well.
Well, we just named every player on the roster.
But for example, like All Right is, I think, a big wild card too.
I think he's going to play a lot of minutes.
Because I feel like he's that guy who you watch him in practice, and I feel like he's not super long. He's not the most athletic guy in the world, but like you watch his highlights. I mean, he's a gamer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he plays really hard. He's one of those like really passionate, emotional dudes. I feel like I saw in practice when he got cooking, he could be a microwave for you. So I think there's just, again, a lot of wild cards with this team, Ken. But it was just good to get some live action under our belt and actually talk about ball,
Yeah, the first 5 or 6 games are really going to tell the story, right? Because guys can look good in practice. I have a couple of guys in my head right now that I'm not going to call them out. You have guys that they're practice all-stars, you know what I mean? That can really play well. But when the lights turn on and you get 10,000 people in front of you, we'll have to see. But I think going that first like 4 or 5 games as these guys fall into their roles, because you don't have, and I know I keep going back to this point, but it's just so relevant to the team this year. You don't have anybody that's stepping up other than Roddy stepping up and like, I'm the guy that was here last year. You know what I mean? Like I'm the one that's going to be, guys that are set into those spots, the 3, 4, 5, like a core base of guys. You don't have that. So there's going to be a little bit of a power struggle. And I can almost guarantee you that that's something that Patino is dealing with, like having meetings with those guys and letting everybody know what he thinks their roles should be. But you just never know until you get these guys on the court together and see how they're going to play with the lights on.
Yeah, well, I feel like it should be that way. I mean, they're all competitors, and that's what's fun about being around these guys is they're top of the line competitors, and I think everyone's coming in expecting to play.
Right.
I think everyone's coming in being like, "Hey, I got a spot." You know what I mean? Like, and I think they should feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should feel that way, and there's a lot of talent too. I mean, you look at the group, and there's a lot of talent here. So, but I do think there are some position battles going on right now, Kenny. I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that practice is really, and we saw it, is really competitive.
Yeah,
they know
it's funny. It's funny how we look at, and I know that we're going to talk about the KenPom rankings and things like that, but the poll that you put up, Coop, about how many wins, and you were talking about it earlier, Cap, about how polarizing the team is between fans, from one fan to the next, and you put up that poll, and what was it, like 30%, 40%, or something like that? Like nobody.
Yeah, he's looking it up right now, but it was all over the place.
It was all over the place. And so I think that you just have a general consensus of there not being a consensus about this team. So it's going to be, I mean, it makes them a wild card. It really does. And at the end of the day, if Xavier ends up being a team that's in the bottom half of the Big East, but they're playing people tough, I mean, it's still not an easy game on your schedule. They're going to be able to beat anybody at any time as long as they're playing together and staying within their roles. I think Patino's going to have a good game plan for every single team they play.
Oh, yeah. And going back to that poll, I tweeted, how many games will Xavier win this season? The most popular answer by far, with 45% out of 100. That's what actually percent means. Like century, 100 per 100.
Nice. Percent. Nice.
I learned that.
Per century.
Most people say 16 to 18. I'm sorry to keep doing ranges, but 16 to 18. 8 to 13. The second most popular answer are the pessimists of the group, saying 15 or less. But I also realized that there's some UC accounts.
Yeah, you might. There's some trolls in there.
Butler accounts that follow us, and so I don't like if I saw that from Viva La Cats or something, like,
right.
I'm
voting the worst one. Yeah.
And then 19% say more than 20, and then just 8% said 19 to 20.
Nice. I was the first vote on that poll, and I was over 20. So just putting it out there.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said this before, and I said this to Keith Jackson after tip-off. Like the team, not from like a physicality standpoint or height standpoint, especially, reminds me of the 2023-24 team, with all the transfers. Sean Miller's second year, Davion McKnight, Quincy Oliveri, everyone's new. Abu, Gitas Namiksha, Sasha Shani, whatever. Like a bunch of guys that hadn't played together. And at the end of the year, like they were on the bubble, but they had like the toughest non-conference schedule probably in organized sports history. Like,
the number one team like 4 times.
Yeah, Houston, Purdue, like it was just a midnight game against Washington. Like,
yeah,
didn't Miller say something like on a press conference? He said something like that shit's fucked up or something like that. You remember that?
He did. That's fucked up.
Coaches wouldn't even take that schedule.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. But but the non-conference schedule is much more manageable now. And I feel like Xavier's a team that's going to steal some wins for sure. Just like the defense are going to play. They're going to get some wins. They're going to make teams turn the ball over. If it's at Cintas, the crowd's going to be going nuts. And you might pull an upset. You might get a win over UConn or St. John's or Creighton. And all it takes is a couple wins here and there, You win the games you're supposed to against Marist and Lemoyne or whatever the school may be. If whether it's fictitious or not, you're still playing them. You have to win it.
What's that one with the shoe?
The shoe.
Yeah, it's like it was showing like the most obscure opponents for every Big East team, and we played some team called like Foul Shoe or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was like the Petty Shoe or
Yeah, Petty Shoe. It was Petty
Yeah.
Shoe. Dude, we got to get that
Betty
revenge game.
shoe. Betty
we
shoe.
got to get that revenge
We
game.
gotta
for
get that
sure.
revenge game against Petty.
No, but I think you bring up a good point though about being able to steal games, and maybe at the end of the day we're not even stealing games, and they're actually they're competing and they end up being favorites in some of these games, especially at the Cintas. But I think a big point that needs to be brought up is with everything that's going on from a financial standpoint, where the school is. You can go on and talk about that stuff, but the one thing that has to remain a constant is the fans. Like you got to put Pitino in the best possible situation to win games. And we all know what the Cintas can be like when they're really rallying behind the team. And I think that more important than anything, it's going to be having that home court advantage like Xavier is known for. And if you don't have that, and the team is struggling a little bit, and Pitino's having a hard time because just getting his feet underneath him in a new school, blah blah blah, like all of those things start to compound on each other. And I think that if the one thing the fans really can control is making sure that they're giving a good atmosphere in these games. And like, I'm not sitting here saying that you got to be all positive all the time, but when the team maybe is struggling a little bit, or when they are playing really well, like kind of just having that mindset of I'm here to help the team win, not necessarily be everybody be a critical ESPN analyst that's talking about the team with like this crazy lens. I feel like we really need to have that support of the fan base.
Yeah, and if you're a fan and you want to donate, you know where to go. Go Xavier.com, click donate, and even just $8 to $13.
$8 to $13.
$8 to $13. That's a good range.
But in all seriousness, I mean, yeah, donating is serious. But in other seriousness, just showing up, be at the Woods, be loud. If you're in the lower bowl, just please, for the love of God, stand up and cheer. Like, it's not an hour.
And if there's been those environments too, Ken, I'm sure you've seen it, where it's like no one was beating Xavier on that day. Like you go into Cintas, it's just electric, and it's like even if it's not the best Xavier year, it's like no one was beating us tonight. Like on like those Saturday night banger crowds, it's like no one. Yeah. Like it was over from the jump. So I'm hoping we get some of those, and I think this team's going to give us a lot of reasons to be excited. And for me, that's overall going into this season, if we have some good moments, this team gives us promising signs. We get a shootout at home. Got to protect home court. I don't think they've beat us in Cintas since 2001. I think is the current stat, which is quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
But like you get some good moments, and then who knows, man? And like we're going to talk about the KenPom rankings here in a second. But you compete, in the top 5-6 in the Big East, and you got shot at the tournament bid there, Ken. So I think this team has the guys to do it. It's just going to, I don't know. That's why I play the games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But diving into the rankings, Kenny, so we have the Ken Pomeroy rankings right in front of us here.
The Ken's not for Kenny Freeze?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's common
I was going
mistake.
to say, what the hell?
I know, common
Most
mistake.
people, what the heck?
Yeah, all the time.
Look at him over there. Look at him over there. He's like, thanks, Docky.
But essentially what KenPom is telling me about Xavier is he has no fucking idea. So he put Xavier pretty much right in the middle of the Big East. So I will just name the number and where they're ranked in the overall KenPom per Big East team. So at 5 overall is UConn, 16 St. John's, 41 Creighton, 47 Marquette, 48 Providence, 50 Villanova, 62 the Xavier Musketeers, 72 Butler, 78 DePaul, 82 Georgetown, and 93 Seton Hall. So no team in the Big East outside the top 100. Seton Hall rounding it out. Kind of crazy to see DePaul having 2 teams behind him.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And my initial takeaway, Ken, too, it's like Georgetown second last in the Big East is kind of wild to me.
Yeah,
Like
it's such a weird. I don't know. Just like growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, and seeing, some of these teams. Like, I mean, Georgetown, obviously, I don't even know when the last time Georgetown was good, if I'm being honest with you, but I just know that they're like, it's one of those teams you're like, why are they not good? You know, like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I feel like they stopped being really good around like 2012, 2013. Their last Final Four was in 08. I think that's their last big run. I think
that makes sense.
If I'm not mistaken.
So like Gulf Coast,
but they were still good with like Otto Porter Jr. and shit like that.
Right.
But no, I agree with you. But also this is Ed Cooley's third year. It would not shock me at all if Georgetown's good.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me at all if they go to the tournament this year.
Otto Porter is just a fancy name for valet.
Yeah. He's an Otto Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's a junior. He's a son of a guy who was an Otto Porter.
Ports automobile. Otto Porter.
That's a classic food line right there. But then too, it's like you have so much bunch up here too, Kenny. You have 41 Creighton, 47 Marquette, 48 Providence, 50 Villanova. That's a range of 41 to 50 guys. We got 4 of those guys, and Xavier at 62. I think that right there is going to decide who makes tournament, who doesn't. That bunch up right there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be tough to not get 4 teams. You know, you hope for 5, 6 if it's a great year, but you're going to get 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard not to get 4. So it's going to be interesting, fellas. And it would, again, Georgetown's in second last per KenPom. Would not shock me at all if they are a top 5 team. Would shock me at all.
No, it wouldn't. It's just I say it every single year, but the preseason rankings are so stupid.
1,000.
And they've never been more stupid than they are right now with NIL and all the transfers. It's just like, I mean, I understand that they have to put something out because it's what they're paid to do. But like, man, I don't know. I don't put much stock into this. Like, you know, Xavier at 62, maybe Xavier's a top 30 team. Maybe they're 150th best team in the country. I don't know. But like sitting here looking at this right now, I'm just like, you know, they were just throwing crap at a wall and deciding which teams were going to be up there. I mean, UConn is always going to be, you know, in the top 5, 10, whatever it is, with the run that they've had in the past few years. But like, I don't know, you know, how can you put any stock into this?
I've never been a big preseason rankings guy. I give it some credence, maybe like 20%. I take it seriously.
Well, I mean, the guys that are making these and obviously KenPom's all analytics and all that, but like the people that are making these preseason rankings, they have more knowledge of the college basketball universe as a whole than I do, for sure. So I think that there's at least something to be said for that, because they know the individual players well. They can make, you know, they can extrapolate a little bit of like how they're going to play together or whatever. But until you see these guys on the court, because one of the things that people don't even think about is, especially with these preseason rankings, is how these guys play together. Are they good teammates? Do they like each other? Like, there's so much of that goes into it. And you heard, like, when we were talking to James last week, he was talking about how, like, on some of his teams, like, they all liked each other, but it was like, man, I just want the season to be over at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's when you get that feeling in a locker room, it happens quickly and it snowballs. But like, at the same time, if they're able to galvanize behind Pitino and they really buy into his program and all of these things that make a program really good, Xavier could easily be a top 25 team. Like, and I'm not saying that that's what they're going to be, but you know, there's just so many factors that go into this, that making a preseason ranking without seeing one of these teams play is, like you said, maybe 20% I'll give to it, that it makes sense.
Completely agree. And it's like, yeah, go ahead.
It's all I care about. I only care about preseason rankings. I don't care.
I've made my bracket.
Yeah. That's all I care about.
Bracket's ready to go.
I don't know. You said that mostly like the AP voters, which I think the AP poll in college basketball is probably the most meaningless thing that exists, like in nature.
Agree.
Even in football, it's like it only really matters until the college football poll comes out, and it'll be like, oh, well, we have Ole Miss at number 4, and then like the playoff poll comes out, it's like, oh, we have them at 10th, and then the next week the AP poll is like, oh yeah, you're right, 10th. But
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but
I've been thinking long and hard about this.
But if you ever look at like the individual AP voters, it'll show like where they rank each team.
Yeah,
and like there's some like say they're working for a newspaper that covers like the Washington Huskies or something. They might only be paying attention to, I guess in this case, the Big Ten. Like that's what they're focused on. They don't have a clue what's going on in the Big East.
Right.
So they're like kind of just blind guessing. If there's Washington wouldn't be a good example. If it's an East Coast voter and there's games happening on the West Coast and the polls due the next day, they're not staying up to
Kinda
watch these games,
Gonzaga. Yeah.
and then they're accidentally ranking teams that just went 0-2 for the week.
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't think the AP poll or anything really matters. I think KenPom's really good once the season starts to be able to judge and then I don't know if the net's still a thing, but KenPom's kind of the big thing. And
Bring back the RPI.
Hey,
that is something that I am not looking forward to for basketball season. Hearing about the net rankings and all it. It's just like, oh my god.
Well, what I'm not.
It's a quality win, a tier 1 win. I'm just like, oh,
it's a quad 2 win.
Quad
yeah,
two.
quad 1, quad 2.
That moved up to a quad 3. I'm just like,
now they're one of the last 4 teams to make the crown or whatever. Like,
whatever,
dude.
I saw the Blue Team degenerate. He's like, I don't want to hear a thing about blind resumes all season. Like, blind resumes are so
that's that dating show that the girls are watching.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's called. Blind resumes.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's so bad. But a couple other teams around the city or around the vicinity here. You've got Ohio State at 27, Louisville at 14, Kentucky at 4, University of Clifton at 36, Dayton at 54. Miami of Ohio at 127, and unfortunately, NKU at 281.
Yikes.
But room to go up. Nowhere to go but up.
Ohio State's way too high. They're not going to finish.
I concur. But again, Ken, I think that there's something with these rankings. It gives you a baseline to some degree, but who cares? It's just
I mean, when you look at a team like Xavier, like what analytics do you even have to give them a ranking?
None of them have played a single minute with the team. That's
well, and like you're taking this information from the other school, the other country, wherever they've played, and you're trying to compile all this together to give some type of data point for the Xavier team as a whole. And it's like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Sources are saying KenPom was at Musketeer Tip-Off.
I mean, I guess, that's a good point because it's like, I don't know. That'd be like having all the ingredients to a dish and be like, I know that's not going to taste good, but it might.
It might. We'll never see. We'll never know.
Like Kentucky's going to be good. UConn's going to be good. St. John's.
And then it takes you 4 months to make it to figure out if it's good or not.
Yeah, and sometimes things like grow on you. You might not. Yeah. I used to really love strawberry milk. Now you're not going to see me with any. I'm a chocolate milk guy.
Yeah, shout out to Kroger.
I don't even know where to buy strawberry milk.
I don't know if you really can. I think they only make it in cartons for elementary schools.
They might.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
That's the only time I've ever seen it.
I don't drink red liquids. I don't do it.
That's just a smart take.
Everyone knows.
Ken, is there anything else? You're kind of the voice of which is kind of crazy, a former player, but you're kind of the voice of the fan tonight, I feel like. Yeah. Is there anything going on in that noggin of yours over there that you're thinking about?
Not really. I feel like I've kind of gotten the points out that I wanted to and the questions that I wanted to, but I think I just keep going back to the same thing. I know as a fan next year or this year, I should say, I will be, I'm always super positive and I'm always supporting the team. And I hope that is a general consensus of most Xavier fans. I think that there's a lot to be excited about. I think this new Pitino era is going to bring a breath of fresh air to the school and to the program. So, I just only, 20 days left till the season, 19 days left till the season. I'm just excited for some college basketball and just to get on the podcast and do some live shows with you guys for the away games.
I completely agree. We've got the exhibition with Murray State coming up. I believe my good friend Coop Ledford will be there.
I don't know. It's 50-50.
50-50.
It's a busy day.
Everything's 50-50.
Well, your brother's getting married. And
that's true. I would be there, but my brother's getting married.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Wait, he's getting married at the game?
At the game.
At the Murray State?
Yeah, at halftime. Yeah.
Wow.
Just talk to Tom. See if you can set up an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to be able to set something up for that.
Right.
Yeah. Are you a real fan if you're not there for the Murray State exhibition game?
Yeah. Real quick, should I just read the replies I tweeted?
Rainbow gift.
What did I tweet? Give us your bold takes for the upcoming basketball season.
Yeah.
And I'll read the ones that.
Joe Fan Clubs wasn't bold, which I really liked.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's bold and italics. I'm impressed.
Birds and 4 says squeaks out 20 wins or they fail to win 13 games, which actually is pretty much exactly what the poll.
So he's giving us a range.
Yeah.
So it's 2 ranges. It's 0 to 13 and 20 to 32. So
Yeah.
Doc Rock
You're right.
asks, who will get the most minutes at point guard? I feel pretty confident saying Roddy.
Yeah, I'd say so. I didn't even see.
He tweeted at me.
Oh wow, that was quick. Let's see. Jerome Hunter Fan Club says undefeated. So
in caps and italics for the record.
I mean, at this point, if it was just taking a note from Coop's book here, it's 50-50.
That's true.
Everything is.
It is. A Twitter user says they will bring back the parachute toss, but it won't have gift cards. It will be airborne meatballs. That could work.
I actually read that too.
Rich Patino, money bag emoji, says we won't be bad at all. Cranges says Philip records multiple triple doubles before I learn how to correctly pronounce his last name. So there's that.
Now that's a bit disingenuous though, because how long is it going to take him to learn?
I mean,
if it takes him 20 years to learn, a couple triple doubles doesn't mean much to us right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe he's really bad with the English language. I don't know.
He may be.
Yeah.
I've met him. He is bad at it.
Yeah. He's good at hole-in-ones though.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, apparently.
KJ, speaking of not knowing how to pronounce things, I don't know anything about wine. He says free glass of Chianti with every Xavier win.
He was trying to spell sausage Chianti.
Chianti. It's a red wine. I don't know how to pronounce it though. I just point at a menu if I'm ordering.
I know if you know. That's pretty much all I know.
Scuba. He says Big East finds a way to 6 bids. Xavier on the bubble, but makes it into the tourney and gets to the second weekend.
Now that's Kenny's kind of guy right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Glass half full of Scuba.
Randy Long, all right, is a third team All-American.
I like that.
Rambo gift.
Rambo
gifts. Aquaman, not the actual Trey Carroll, but I mean, it's pretty convincing just from first glance. Like this dude has 2.6 thousand followers and his Twitter handle is Trey Carroll. Like you would think, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
$2 beer night is his prediction. There's that Xavier like beer coming out.
D'Artagnan's drought.
Yeah, is that what
is
it
that
is?
official?
I mean, it was on.
Brian Hicks tweeted.
Brian Hicks tweeted like the canning process, but I don't think they put out anything like.
Nothing official.
He said like coming soon or stay tuned, something like that.
I think
but it's only going to be released. I think there's like a very small release within Cincinnati, and then they're going to have it at Cintas Center.
That's awesome.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's, if I remember it, it's being brewed by Great Lakes, which is pretty sick. Not like that crap that Cincy Light. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, fuck them.
That's just Natty Light recanned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Lee's fault. I think it was
exactly. Yeah,
but
friend podcast.
Hey, what's up, Lee? What else we got? Richard Patino believer. We won't have $1 beer night, but we'll have $1 victory vino night. That would work.
I know what vino is.
Wyatt Link, whoever that is. He says some good, some bad building blocks.
Coop's like, F that guy.
No, I remember Wyatt. That's why I said it.
Cap stuff.
Peter
stuff.
Cunningham. DePaul will not play on Wednesday. I don't care about DePaul.
That makes one of us.
Bold italics. Kenny's gift. Let's do this the old way. This might not even be replying anymore.
See, that's impressive. The bold and italics right there.
Doc Rock. We will win more than we lose, and we just might end up being a bubble team. I doubt we will be terrible, but we could be good. I agree.
See, I think that's how we all feel.
And that's pretty much it. So
that's the consensus.
That's the consensus.
There's no consensus.
The consensus is just
There's a range.
Just like KenPom, we don't know. You know?
Right.
We're gonna play basketball. We're gonna win some games. We're gonna lose some games.
But we have to sit here and hypothesize or whatever the word may be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have no podcast.
Correct.
Right.
Big fella.
We got it.
We got anything else? I will say, if we're done talking about Xavier stuff, I will do some housekeeping real quick.
Okay.
I'm very excited about what's coming up with the Roll Ball podcast.
Yes.
Guests, very excited.
Yes.
I feel like we've been cooking, boys.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think I'll say this about us. I feel like if you were going to ask about what we were going to look like a month ago, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
We've hit mid-season form early. We've got good chemistry behind the scenes.
I think the guests that we have coming up, we're not going to name any names right now, but we got 2 or 3 absolutely amazing shows coming up that people are going to be very excited to watch. And I think that that's going to kind of catapult us into the stratosphere. We're gonna be able to get a lot of Xavier legends on the show, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And truly, we appreciate everyone's support because I feel like that plays a big part. I mean, I think truly, if you see, the traction that the podcasts get, and I think, shout out to the Big East Energy Network to help us. I think our streams look better. I think our branding looks better. I've leveled up my graphic design work a little bit, but I feel like all that stuff adds up. And I think, the higher weight class, especially like a great interview with James last week, for example, and then he got in touch with people and he was fantastic. And I think that just helps. I think it becomes kind of a bit of a domino effect. And so we appreciate all the support that we've gotten to even be here. I think, especially without the listeners and things like that, that makes it fun. That just continues to give you energy, and I think at least for me, that's allowed me to keep it going.
Gives you Big East energy and some fun stuff that'll happen during the season.
Shout out Dana Gardens.
Yeah, shout out Dana Gardens, eyeball emoji. I don't know.
Streams will be coming back, Ken?
What's that?
Streams for road games?
Oh, yeah.
Coming
Absolutely.
back.
That's the best part of the year for me.
I agree. And then we'll have something else I think we're really excited for home games. But I think, expect everything that we've been doing plus more.
Yeah. And then on top of all the just the roll blob stuff, we also have if anybody that's still here, we'll be putting out either a QR code or a link for we have our roll blob Discord. We're going to try and get as many people over to the new Big East Energy Discord. There will be a bunch of invites going out on Twitter. Like I said, QR code. I might just get a big shirt made for the games and put it on my back. But there's going to be a lot of fun in there. It's all Big East teams. You can go in there and talk some shit if you want to represent Xavier. We got a couple different things in there that I think people will enjoy. But I think just as a whole, the Big East Energy Network has been like you said, it's been a level up for us in a lot of different ways. And I think that some of the content that we have planned coming out with Mark and the rest of the guys at Big East Energy Network, it's going to be a lot of fun with some crossover podcasts as we go through the season. So it's going to be a lot of good content.
I think this will be our best year yet, Ken. Coop has a little factoid for us before we get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
A little factoid.
A perfect segue to end this podcast. QR code. You hear it all the time.
Do you think he knows?
What does QR stand for?
Do you know what it stands for? I didn't know. But gun to your head.
No idea.
It stands for quick response. Now, Kenny, give us a quick response with 2 words.
Stay blobbing.